17 copies and give them to a staff member at the back of the auditorium. Staff member, please hold up your hand for the audience. If you do not have 17 copies, you may use the overhead camera to present your documents. Please place your documents on the podium and line it up with the arrows indicated. If you want your documentation to go on record, you must hand them to the clerk after your presentation with the agenda item number clearly marked on the documentation. Members of the public cannot speak to staff members that are seated at the tables with microphones during the meeting. If you have questions, please see the staff member located in the back of the auditorium. All speakers will be limited to 2 minutes to make their presentation statements. Everyone, please turn off all cell phones or place them on vibrate during the meeting. If you must take a call, please leave the meeting area and go outside to have your conversation. We also ask the audience to refrain from talking with one another during the presentations and discussions. Today, the Planning and Zoning Commission will hear public testimony and then forward a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors. Everyone attending the meeting is asked to remember that the administrative building and campus are tobacco-free areas, which means no smoking is allowed from curb to curb. No food or drinks are allowed in the auditorium except for bottled water. If there are any items remaining on the agenda, the Commission will break for lunch for 1 hour per the Chairman's discretion.
The items with recommendation made by the Commission will be heard by the Board of Supervisors on Monday, August 4th, 2025 at 9:30 a.m. in this same location with the exception of any continued items. June 11th, 2025 Planning and Zoning meeting minutes have been approved. So moving on to item 1. Vicki.
Chairman Hassett.
Oh, yes, presentation.
Sorry. Yes, presentation, please.
Come on up.
Oh, there it goes. You might be controlling it from the back.
That works. The mouse needs to be turned on. Okay. Do you know how to zoom it up? Good morning.
Morning.
Chairman Hassett, members of the Commission, thank you very much for allowing us to be here today. My name is Ron Crater, and I represent the team that is moving forward with a project called Harmony at Golden Valley Ranch on a piece of property that's commonly referred to as Pravada. This is located in South Golden Valley. It's a project that has been before the board back in the years 2006 to 2008. Some discussions came up during the general plan amendment process for 2025 regarding this property, and some questions were raised relative to the status of the project, some of the direction of the project moving forward, and also how it relates to the current 2015 general plan. And so today, I'm here, thank you very much, to be able to provide just an introductory presentation. I'll try to keep it short. I've put together some slides. It's not super sophisticated, but I want to just describe to you the team that we've assembled and some of our initial thoughts and ideas. Again, my name is Ron Crater. I'm a community planner, landscape architect. Primarily, my practice is focused in the Southwest part of the United States, but I've been fortunate enough to practice all over the world. We're really very pleased to be here today. And I want to get to the next slide, but the arrows are not functioning. Oh, there we go. There's a bit of a lag, so my apologies. So we've put together a team. We've assembled a team to look at the property. The Pravada specific plan and the Pravada area located again in South Golden Valley as part of the Mojave County General Plan is comprised of about 5,000 acres. That's the total project. Today I'm going to discuss the first phase, our initial thoughts and ideas for the first phase of that project. We've assembled a comprehensive team of experts and really highly regarded professionals in the industry. We're looking at things like civil engineering, infrastructure design, traffic engineering, geotechnical engineering. We've got real estate investment and real estate marketing experts. We've really assembled what we think is a class-leading team of professionals to look at every aspect of the project and of the property moving forward. The next slide is the site context. It's a location map, and it shows that the property, the overall property, again, the Pravada property, is bounded by Shinnerup to the north, and Aztec enters the property basically from the north, about central to the overall property. The area that I'm talking about today is our first phase. It's called Harmony at Golden Valley Ranch, and it's the area that's been highlighted at the center. It's approximately 125 acres net and about 150 acres gross overall. The property was entitled in 2008, and it went through a very comprehensive process of public outreach, workshops. There was a lot of interaction with the community and with the board in terms of crafting a plan that would be in alignment with the overall goals and objectives of Mojave County and its growth projections in the future. And this property was identified as a very important piece of that puzzle, a very important piece of the future of Mojave County moving forward. And so this overall area plan, which translates into the general plan designations and ultimately the zoning plans, are intended to continue that projected growth, and in a way that where it can be controlled and it can be regulated and it can be assured that it's meeting all of the objectives as defined in the general plan. So in 2008, the property was entitled, and that included zoning and a development agreement. And I'll talk a little bit about that. And also it basically establishes all the rules and regulations related to developing the project in the future. And I think one key element is that it does include a development agreement. And a lot of folks tend to look at a development agreement as a one-way transaction, when in reality, the facts are that it assures the county maintains control and regulation and decisions on how the property is going to be moved forward and how that plan is going to be implemented. So in many ways, it obligates the developer and builders in terms of the rules that they need to follow, the parks that need to be developed, the public facilities like schools and infrastructure and water facilities and wastewater facilities and things of that sort. So a development agreement is a very important tool in regulating and controlling growth in an orderly and manageable way in the future. So it's a very important part of this project and a very important document. The development agreement and specific zoning plan is for the area. It's approximately 5,000 acres, and again, it's located in South Golden Valley. I don't know if there's a pointer, but this is the existing 2015 general plan, which you're going through the update process right now. And you can see the property, the overall project is located generally in the southeasterly portion of this study area. What it does is it ensures orderly, regulated, and quality developments for the long term. It defines the development standards in terms of what the setbacks of the homes are going to be, what the lot sizes are going to be, what the maximum densities might be, how much open space is going to be required for each of the neighborhoods as you develop the property. It ensures that proper design, construction, and management of infrastructure and services, water and sewer systems. One of the key components of the development agreement is that it obligates the developer to improve all infrastructure associated with the project. So there's no responsibility by Mojave County or government to provide water service, sewer service, roadways, things of that sort. The development agreement ensures that all those improvements are built and paid for by the developer, and that the project is self-capitalized. That's a very important point. The development results in significant benefits to the county, and again, these are excerpts directly from the zoning and the general plan and the development agreement, but the idea is it encourages investment in Mojave County, it provides for public infrastructure, increased tax base and other revenue opportunities as the project is developed and as the community matures, creates employment opportunities. And one of the things that I'm focused on as a community planner is it ensures that we create a wide range of high-quality housing. And by what I mean by high range is that there's multiple housing types and price ranges and configurations so that we really create communities that are sustainable from the perspective that provide housing for a wide diversity of people and family types and socioeconomic levels. And it also increases the housing supply. And so it has been identified that Mojave County is certainly an area of growth over the next years. And so it was identified when this was approved that this physically was a good area. It was the right area to actually have some of that managed control growth. One of the first things that we've done is we started with a market study, and we identified what the opportunities would be in the marketplace, because one of the key components to community sustainability is economic sustainability. And so it's very important for us to recognize where is the housing market, where are the growth projections, how are the demographics shifting, why are people moving to certain parts of Arizona, and why and how can we ensure that we create a community plan and a neighborhood plan, and we design the right kind of housing to where it meets the market expectations. And so we very early in the process identified that one of the opportunities here is in the active adult market. Sometimes it's referred to as the age-targeted market, where it's typically 55 and over. It's a lifestyle-oriented community. It has a high level of amenities and opportunities for social connections. But we believe, and it's been supported by the market analysis by Zonda, that the first phase of this community should be focused on age-targeted housing and age-targeted amenities. And again, it's because generally right now it's a little bit remote. There aren't a lot of facilities, a lot of services out there, and so it's been identified that that's not only a growing component of the market, but it's also an opportunity given the first phase of development. And so one of the important things we start with is creating a vision and creating some objectives and some things that are very important to us as community designers. And so we've identified that it's a beautiful valley. Some of the land out there has already been graded. The project began in 2008, directly after it was approved. Because of the obvious economic downturn in 2008, the project was stopped, not unlike many other projects in the country. And so now is the right time. The team feels that this is the right time to move forward with the project. And so our thought was originally we would come up with some important objectives and goals, and in the idea that we're creating a neighborhood. We want to create a really vibrant community that not only just includes homes, but it includes those other elements that we can design and construct as community builders that support the recreational opportunities, have other amenities, and create social connectivity within our neighborhoods. So I like to think of it as that I'm not creating homes and streets and utilities, we're creating community. We're creating a place that can function in all aspects of community. And so we have today, we're presenting to you some initial thoughts about how the neighborhoods would be connected through a series of key features. And some of those key features are the community buildings themselves. And so we're borrowing some ideas from other projects that have been very successful, where we start with a community building, a community center, a place where people can gather and have multiple activities. We see that as the heartbeat of the community, and really starts to establish that central core. The overall master plan that I'm introducing today identifies a variety of lot sizes and home sizes across approximately 120 acres. Our initial phase, our initial proposal today is 363 lots. And it's a variety of lot sizes, a wide variety of home sizes and price points, and it's surrounded by open space. Now, that open space was originally intended in the 2008 plan to be a golf course. It's our feeling that that's not the best use of that land. That golf course, given where we are in the environment and given our desire to create a community that is above all focused on water conservation, that an 18-hole golf course at this time is not the right thing to do. So we've replaced the golf course with a more diverse mix of open space uses. And so we see trails and parks and walking areas and gardens and things of that sort in the open space area. So the open space remains as defined in the general plan and in the zoning, but we're not going to start with an 18-hole golf course. We just think that that's probably not the best use of our resources, and other open space amenities actually create high value in these types of communities. And we've identified in the marketplace that people are really focused on other kinds of amenities and other kinds of recreation beyond just golf. So at the center of the neighborhood is a recreation park area, and I'll present some of the ideas around that. But the entry to the community comes down off of Aztec. So Aztec Road is extended from Shinarump, and it goes further south, and then it connects into what's called a loop road, which then goes towards the west and connects into the primary entry into the neighborhood. And again, inside the neighborhood, we've got a mix of lot sizes. Our smallest lot size we're proposing is 5,500 square feet, and our largest lot size is about 13,500 feet. So there's a wide variety of lot sizes, home sizes, configurations, and price points. The key elements are that, one of the key elements we're looking at is a theme that centers around community gardens, and the idea that people really enjoy being involved in and seeing us growing the vegetables and growing some of the foods. And so as an amenity, we're proposing to build a series of community gardens and village gardens that actually will be part of a community-supported agricultural program. And a big part of that program is that, and again, this is not commercial agriculture. The idea is that all of the vegetables and fruits and the fruit trees would be kept on site and in the community, in Kingman and in Mojave County and in Golden Valley. It's not a commercial enterprise, but it's run by a nonprofit that manages the open space, manages the garden portion of it, but really provides us great opportunities for learning and people becoming involved in their food production. That's something that, in all the communities I'm working on now, is a really vibrant and important part of the community fabric. People like to be involved in that. They like to learn about sustainable gardening practices. And so that's going to be really the core. That's going to be the central organizing theme of this neighborhood. In addition to that, we've got a whole series of proposed trail systems and bark parks and focal parks and fitness course and fitness opportunities, hiking and biking and walking and jogging, and they all connect back to the neighborhoods, and they connect to our centralized garden and our centralized amenity element that we've got there. From a landscape perspective, we want to really focus on drought-tolerant landscapes. And that's the key. We're going to do very, very little turf area, if any, only on focused areas where we have active use open space. But primarily, the focus is going to be on drought-tolerant landscapes and plant types that certainly focus on water conservation. At the center of the neighborhood is this feature, and the feature combines recreational opportunities and social connections. So there's everything from pickleball to bocce ball. There's gardens that are going to be growing the fruits and the vegetables. There's a big lawn where we can have multi-use activities, a barn-like structure that'll be sort of the centerpiece of the amenity. But the idea is that this becomes the center of the neighborhood and becomes a place where neighbors can gather and activities can be held. One of the key elements in this community is that it be focused on renewable energies, rainwater harvesting, composting, sustainable building practices. We really want to focus on a new model of neighborhood design, which is reducing the overall environmental impact of our developments. And I'm going to go through a couple of those key components. Mobility and accessibility is one of the elements that, to the extent we can create a neighborhood where people don't rely on their automobile to move about, that they can really have accessibility to the amenities and to the open space through walking and biking and jogging is one of the key elements.
Excuse me, sir, Mr. Crater.
Yes.
I just want to, we're approaching the end of what should be the presentation. We've
Thank you.
allocated about a little over 15 minutes. So is there any key bullet points that you want to address inside the slide? And then my question for attorney is, this isn't an interactive thing, so no questions from commissioners, correct?
I mean, it's slated on the agenda. You guys are welcome to ask questions if you want.
Okay. I want, if you could go through
I
some
will.
bullet points on your remaining, that way we can allow some questions to be asked. So
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, Chairman Hassett. We've started to develop some of our initial thoughts on architecture, the themes of architecture, the types of homes, single-family detached homes, the materials, the colors. We're being influenced by traditional architectural styles, but also leaning towards some of the contemporary architectural styles that we're seeing in the marketplace today. But again, really focused on traditional, what I'll call ranch-themed architecture. The implementation strategy is one of the first key elements as we want to reach out to the community. We want to engage with the stakeholders early in the process before we have any final plans. We're really keen on meeting with any groups and any individuals that want to talk to us about the project, who have ideas and want to identify issues. One of the issues that has come up, and I've heard this in some of my preliminary conversations, is the issue of wastewater treatment. We've got one of the highest level of technologically advanced systems that we're proposing. Almost 100% of the water that goes through this processing facility can be reused for irrigation. And so the major points, this is it. It complies with the Mojave County General Plan, Zoning, and Development Agreement. The proposed project that I'm sharing with you today is about a quarter of the allowed units, given existing zoning of medium density zoning. We've got, all of the studies have been complete relative to the adequate water supply, and then on-site water and wastewater systems will be built by the developer and operated by a company called Nexus, so it's all on-site. And so today we presented to you what we believe to be a high-quality, highly amenitized lifestyle community. Thank you very much, and I'll open it for questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the presentation. It was very well thought through, and I think I personally really like the designs and would welcome that into my community. I'm sure there are questions from our commission. I just have one. When does it start?
Well, we're anxious to continue with our planning. Again, we're going to meet with community groups, meet with other stakeholders. We're anxious to move forward with our planning and start submitting our initial plans to county staff, Public Works, here in the next month. And then we'd like to proceed just as quickly as we can. I mean, we're anxious to begin construction.
So if you had everything your way, when would you put on the first bulldozer to the property?
Before the end of the year, if everything went to plan, I'd like to. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Questions from commissioners?
I have a quick question, kind of staff more than anybody. I realize this plan went into effect a long time ago, almost 20 years ago. I was working for the county engineering department back then, and I was one of the people that took a look at their at-risk grading permit. That kind of got things started way back when, and so I'm very familiar with what they've got planned and what was proposed in the history of the project. But my question to staff would be, where we're at now and what they're proposing now, is this going to be reviewed for compliance with the water use ordinance that was passed by the board about 2014, about 10 years ago? It was primarily pushed by Supervisor Moss, and it specifically dealt with the use of groundwater and for irrigation of open spaces and that type of thing. And it was put, the planning and zoning was specifically mentioned as one enforcement arm of the county under that ordinance. I'm just curious if that applies to this project or not, based on its history of zoning and when things were done.
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Patillo, I'd have to look again at the resolution that was passed by the board to see if that would, so you have the development agreement, and that sets out a lot of the rules and regulations for this specific development. I don't know off the top of my head if that would kind of come in over the top of that or not because of the specific development plan.
It's more than a resolution, it's a full-blown ordinance that was written.
Any other questions from commissioners? Yes, go ahead.
So first of all, I appreciate that presentation. That was very well thought out. I'm looking forward to that actually moving forward, but I guess my ultimate question is, does it meet the current general plan? Because that's really what's on the agenda today, is how does this conform with the current general plan? I mean, the last discussion we had was there is a lot of density here, and is it time to move that density out? And so maybe you can help us understand a couple of things. Is this the same density, and does it overlay with the current general plan, or do we need to change the general plan based on your future?
Thank you, Commissioner Bradshaw. Great question. This plan, as I've presented today, does comply with the current general plan, and it complies with the existing zoning. So not only is there general plan designations in terms of land use, but also the property was zoned. So that's the next level of detail. So now the update to the general plan is going to be in compliance because it's going to be the same, right? We're going to keep the same land uses and keep the same densities. The current density for the property that I presented today, it's designated in zoning as medium density residential with a density of up to 12 units per acre. We're not going to build that. Today's presentation, we're just under 3 units per acre total. So I think our objective is to maintain the general plan as it is. We think it's appropriate, the development agreement in its current form, but moving forward and implementing that plan, there is still flexibility in terms of what we build within the context of those entitlements and the density. So I can't project in the future. All I can tell you is that today we're building a quarter of the allowed density, and that seems to be where the market is headed. And you know, what the future holds, I can't speculate, but for now, it seems like we're going to be building under that existing density.
Great, thank you. Yeah, and again, beautiful presentation. I thought it was very nice.
Thank you.
I got a couple
things. Thank you for that presentation. You really answered a lot of my questions about that project. This is the project, I believe, that was formerly owned by Rhodes, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
One of his entities. Yeah. Jim Rhodes owned one of the entities.
Well, I love it that you're going to build a sewage treatment plant or whatever is necessary. That is something that really is necessary out there. And I, you know, Kingman, Bullhead City, Lake Havasu is built out, and this is going to be the next growth area. And I'm very, very pleased that you covered all of this very, very well, and it should answer a lot of people's questions on what's going to be built out there in Golden Valley. We know that that's the growth area for the next probably 20 years maybe, and I appreciate your input. Thank you.
Commissioner Kirkman, thank you very much. I apologize for taking too much time in the presentation.
Well, and as we conclude that time, thank you very much. I'm sure that could be some members of the public, so I would encourage you to maybe speak with them in the vestibule if you have items you want to pass out or interact with them. That might be a good thing, but it's completely up to you, so thank you very much.
Absolutely. I will make myself available after the meeting today.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 1, Vicki.
That's a good point.
Agenda item 1 is an evaluation of the decision of Board of Supervisors Resolution 2025-038, which approved a 150-foot wireless telecom telecommunication tower in an AR agricultural residential zone on assessor's parcel number 405-30001 in the cane beds vicinity. The developer determined the location approved with Resolution 2025-038 would not be adequate for service. Developer submitted a new special use permit application for a new location. Heard before this commission on June 11th, 2025. Staff recommends that Board of Supervisors Resolution 2025-038 be rescinded.
Thank you very much. Opening the public hearing, is the applicant present? They've wrote a letter, so we clearly understand what they're trying to do. So if there's no other comments on this, closing the public hearing, and I'd like to entertain a motion on item 1.
Motion to approve per staff recommendation.
We have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 2, Melanie.
Item 2 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of assessor's parcel number 12007-037 from an AR 36A agricultural residential 36-acre minimum lot size zone to an AR 13A agricultural residential 13-acre minimum lot size zone to allow for a minor land division in the Lake Havasu vicinity. Staff does find that the application is proper for consideration, subject to the standard conditions.
Thank you very much. Opening the public hearing, is the applicant present? Do you wish to speak at this time or just available for questions? Do commissioners have any questions for the applicant? Hearing none, thank you very much. Closing the public hearing, I'd like to entertain a motion on item 2.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Item carries. Item 3, Cassidy.
Item 3 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of assessor's parcel number 306-24129 from an AR 10A agricultural residential 10-acre minimum lot size zone to an AR 5A agricultural residential 5-acre minimum lot size zone to allow for a minor land division in the Golden Valley vicinity. Staff finds the application proper for consideration with standard conditions.
Thank you very much. Opening the public hearing, the applicant is present, I'm assuming, for questions. Any questions for the applicant from commission? Hearing none, I'd like to close the public hearing and entertain a motion on item 3.
I make a motion to approve as read.
Second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, item carries. Item 4, Vicky.
Agenda item 4 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of assessor's parcel number 306-41001D as in dog from an AR 10A agricultural residential 10-acre minimum lot size zone to an AR agricultural residential, AR 2A agricultural residential 2-acre minimum lot size, and AR 3A agricultural residential 3-acre minimum lot size zones to allow for minor land divisions in the Golden Valley vicinity. Staff finds the application proper for consideration with standard conditions.
Thank you very much. Opening the public hearing, the applicant is present for questions. Any commissioners have questions for the applicant? Hearing none, I would like to close the public hearing and entertain a motion on item 4.
Move to approve.
First,
Second.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, item carries. Item 5, Melanie.
Item 5 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of assessor's parcel number 317-45079A from an A general zone to a C2H highway commercial zone to allow for highway frontage commercial development in the White Hills vicinity. Staff does find that the application is proper for consideration, subject to the standard conditions.
Thank you very much. Opening the public hearing, once again, the applicant is present. Questions for the applicant? Hearing none, I'd like to close the public hearing and entertain a motion on item 5.
Move to approve per staff recommendations.
First and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Item carries. Item 6, Melanie.
Item 6 is an evaluation of a request for a special use permit for assessor's parcel number 317-45079A to allow for a billboard in the C2H highway commercial zone in the White Hills vicinity. Staff does find that the application is proper for consideration with the standard conditions.
Thank you very much. Opening the public hearing, applicant is present. Do commission have any questions for the applicant at this time?
Yes.
Would you please come down? Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Kathy Tackett Hicks, acting as the owner's agent. Happy to answer questions.
Thank you. My ultimate question is, what style of billboard do you plan to put up? Will it be a
Not a digital.
digital board or just a?
It's not. It's similar to the ones that are set up out there right now that just have the lighting down.
And then my next question is we've seen these come back dozens of time for extensions of time. How long is this going to take? Are we going to see extensions, or is this going to go through quickly?
So I hate coming back for extensions.
I know you do.
But part of the issue with billboards is that you have to get ADOT approvals as well. And so when you go through and you submit, it just seems to take long. And normally we're given about a year. Several of those we've had to ask for extensions, some 2 extensions, which is inappropriate. The developers have indicated that they want to get these up in the next year or 2 because it's connected with a development. I think you received a copy of a site plan. This parcel is connected with the parcel below, and in fact, those parcels will likely be combined because of the development potential for them. So a year or 2 is when these will be up. And you'll notice in that whole area, there's a lot more commercial going on out there. There's that new Taco Bell. I think there's a Dunkin' Donuts going on out there and all kinds of stuff. So,
Any other question? Go ahead.
I don't know about your billboards. You say it's going to be a year or 2?
yeah, normally they give a year. I was trying to be very honest with Mr. Bradshaw about it because we also have to submit a commercial site plan for the sites, so we can...
They're not ready to go. You're just getting it ahead of time.
Well, it takes a while to get the permitting for these things in line. Many times you can do it in a year. We would assume that you could do it in a year. Okay? And this approval does allow for a year, right? Is that correct? Yeah, 1 year.
Any other questions from
I have a question maybe for staff, and would it be prudent to extend these to a 2-year initial approval?
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Bradshaw, that is an option. So our standard conditions for a special use permit are that the use has to commence within 1 year. But I do believe that the commission has the prerogative to extend that, and you could do an initial submit or an initial of 2 years if that would be better to prevent it from coming back for an extension of time.
Any other questions for the applicant or staff at this time?
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to close the public hearing and entertain a motion on item 6.
I'd like to make a motion to approve with the amendment to extend it to a 2-year approval period.
I'd like to second that.
Okay, perfect. There's a first with an amendment of 2 years and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, item carries. Item 7, Cassidy.
Item 7 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of assessor's parcel number 31745-081A from an A general zone to a C2H highway commercial zone to allow for highway frontage commercial development in the White Hills vicinity. Staff finds the application proper for consideration with standard conditions.
Thank you. Opening the public hearing, the applicant is present. Do we have questions for her at this time? Hearing none, I'd like to close the public hearing and entertain a motion on item 7.
Motion to approve per staff recommendations.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Item carries. Item 8, Cassidy.
Item 8 is an evaluation of a request for a special use permit for assessor's parcel number 31745-081A to allow for a billboard in a C2H highway commercial zone in the White Hills vicinity. Staff finds application proper for consideration with standard conditions.
Thank you. Opening the public hearing, the applicant is present. Does commission have any questions for her at this time?
Yes.
Kathy Tackett Hicks again. How can I help you?
Same question, style of billboard.
Same thing. This will not be a digital or neon lighted billboard. And we're happy to make that as a condition. I would support that.
Great, thank you.
And it was really awesome that you allowed for the 2-year, because I think that takes care of some of these inconsistencies, so thank you for that, and if you could do it on this one, that would be great as well.
Yeah. Thank you. Closing the public hearing, I'd like to entertain a motion on item 8.
I'll move that we approve item number 8 with the extension of time to 2 years.
Second.
There's a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Item carries. Item 9, Vicky.
Agenda item 9 is an evaluation of a request for a special use permit for assessor parcel number 329-06-561 and 329-06-526, D as in dog, to allow for an existing RV park with 4 spaces in a C2 1 acre general commercial 1 acre minimum lot size zone in White Hills vicinity. Staff finds the application proper for consideration with standard conditions.
Thank you very much. Opening the public hearing, is the applicant present? Do you wish to speak at this time? I'm sure you're going to have some. Questions from commission?
I do.
Come on up. Name and address for the record, please.
Thank you. My name is Clint and Mary Anderson. We are the owners, and the address is 8518 West Rolling Ridge Drive, White Hills, Arizona.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Martin?
So I'm not clear on what your request is for. If there's already an existing RV park, is it not in compliance? Is that what the problem is?
I think it's a communication problem. What existed is when White Hills was developed, they brought in a team of people to live up there, to set up the sales building and to have living quarters. The people that cut the roads, the people develop it. There was always been a housing area there. It's kind of before computers, and when we've gone in there, we can't seem to find any records showing the development of that property, but it had to be because they dropped 400 amps of power into it. A commercial meter, on the water. There's big, major septic tanks in there. It's 4 units that were used just to develop White Hills. It's been there since 1986, and what's happened is when I purchased it, it was in bad repair, and I had bad health, and I didn't do anything with it, and just recently I cleaned it up. Weeds, trash, everything else. Put some crushed rock down, and everybody noticed it. So it's kind of popped out now, and code enforcement came by and says, what's going on? Like I just started it or something, and it's not been that way.
Can staff clarify?
Yeah, Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Martin. So an RV park is allowed in the C2 zone with a special use permit. It does appear that this RV park has been in existence for quite some time. However, we couldn't verify excuse me, that it had been in existence since before that zoning was put into place. So from our perspective, it is a non-compliant RV park, but I can attest that it's been there for a very long time. So this is the property owner trying to bring that into compliance. I do believe that the current property owners purchased it as an existing RV park, and so they're doing what they can to bring it into compliance and working with our code enforcement team to do so.
Is wastewater correct for the usage?
The system,
Your current
the
wastewater?
wastewater system was put in by a commercial company out of Las Vegas, the Darling Corporation, and it was put in at the same exact time as the community center was put in. So they're twins, they're identical. The buildings were put in, the pool was put in, everything with the commercial company.
What year would that be?
I believe, I don't know, but I'm guessing 86.
So the key would be, it was before 2001, correct?
Correct.
Okay. It was put in under the old engineering bulletin standards for septic systems rather than the new requirements.
So is the usage in compliance for their wastewater treatment?
Back in those days, all I can say is they had 4 mobile homes. They didn't have holding tanks in those mobile homes or anything like that. So they had the old toilets, the 5-gallon flush, and they had 2-3 bedrooms in those old mobile homes. So they have a huge septic system. In today's world, I'm not putting mobile homes in. And I know it says RV park. It's not going to be overnight stays or anything like that, people dumping their waste or anything. We have a couple businessmen that rent the spaces. Kalamazoo and White Hills Mining Company are the tenants recently. They just are small RVs. And the small RVs don't have anywhere close to the original purpose of having the water back in the early 80s. Between the developer and the owner of the land back then, they wrote up and recorded a lease for 25 or 50-year lease for residential occupancy there. I don't know what else I could say, but planning and zoning has come out. They've looked at the septic. They've looked at everything. I didn't know of any problems has been, at all with this property. It's cleaned up. It's much prettier than it was.
So staff, is their wastewater treatment in compliance?
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Martin, there is an existing septic system on site, so this special use permit is kind of the first step in the process of bringing them into compliance. The next step is they will have to submit an RV park plan that's going to show where those RV spaces are. They'll have to show where that septic system is, and our environmental quality department will review that to make sure that what they have is sufficient for what they're looking to bring into compliance.
So my next question for staff is there an existing septic permit on the site? And if so, what does it have to say about capacity, if anything?
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Patillo, I apologize, I don't have that information readily available. I'd have to look into that and get back to you.
Well, because I know one possible scenario is environmental quality saying that it's not sufficient, that a subtitle D system isn't going to work, and they have to build a new one.
We had somebody from the zoning come out and inspect it. Nobody has said anything. The other thing is that the tax appraisal people have been on their notation cards on taxes and stuff. I got copies of those before computers showing that these trailers were on that property.
I'm sure they are, and I'm sure you bought it thinking everything was absolutely fine. I'm primarily interested in some of the technicalities that I know that can be kind of hang-ups for people.
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Patillo, so this is our code enforcement log for the site. It looks like back in the end of March, environmental quality did conduct an inspection of the septic tank and it passed. So it has been looked at and it will be sufficient for their 4 spaces.
Any other questions from Commission for the applicant at this time? If not, I'd like to close the public hearing and entertain a motion on item 9.
Move to approve.
Second.
First and a second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, item carries. Thank you very much. Item 10, Cassidy.
Item 10 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of assessor's parcel number 326-04024 from an A general zone to a C2H highway commercial zone to allow for hay and feed sales in the Dolan Springs vicinity. Staff finds the application proper for consideration with standard conditions.
Thank you very much. Opening the public hearing, is the applicant present? Do you wish to speak at this time? Any questions from commissioners? Hearing none, I would like to close the public hearing and entertain a motion on item 10.
Make a motion to approve per
Second.
staff recommendations.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope, item carries. Item 11, Melanie.
Item 11 is evaluation of the request for a rezone of assessor's parcel number 326-03113 from an A general zone to an SDC special development commercial zone to allow for a tire auto repair shop, a food truck, hay sales, and 2 residences in the Dolan Springs vicinity. We have received 1 letter of opposition to this item. Staff does find that the application is proper for consideration, subject to the standard conditions.
Thank you very much. Opening the public hearing, is the applicant present? Do you wish to speak at this time? Available for questions. Are there questions for the applicant from the commission? Hearing none, I would like to ask Daniel Hornia has signed up to speak on this item. Name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, I'm Daniel Horniak. I live in Henderson, but I own the property right next door to this one. And I'm here to support the people that are trying to do this. I bought that property approximately 3 years ago, and they've always been a good neighbor. They look out for you, and I'm in support of them. So.
Thank you very much. Closing the public hearing, I'd like to entertain a motion on item 11.
Make a motion to approve?
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, item carries. Item 12, Vicky.
Agenda item 12 is an evaluation of a request for a rezone of assessor's parcel number 317-49040-041 and 026 from an A general zone to an M1 light manufacturing zone to allow for future manufacturing operations in the White Hills vicinity. We received one letter of support. Staff finds the application proper for consideration with standard conditions.
Thank you very much. Opening the public hearing, the applicant is present. Do you have any questions for the applicant at this time from the commission? If not, I'd like to close the public hearing and entertain a motion on item 12.
I move that we approve it according with standard conditions.
There's a first, a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Item 13, applicant is on Teams, and this was continued from the June 11th meeting. Cassidy.
Item 13 is an evaluation of a request for an amendment to the Mojave County General Plan from a light industrial land use designation to a suburban residential land use designation and a rezone of assessor's parcel number 326-03028B from an A general zone to an AR agricultural residential zone to allow for a minor land division in the Dolan Springs vicinity. This item was continued from the June Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Staff finds the application proper for consideration with standard conditions.
Thank you very much. Opening the public hearing, is the applicant confirmed on Teams? And do they wish to speak at this time?
Yes, he is. Mr. Carlton?
Does the commission have any questions for the applicant?
They're all pretty simple.
Can you refresh our memory as to why it was continued?
I believe the commission had questions and the applicant was not present.
Oh.
I actually do have questions.
Perfect.
Okay, is he here?
Yes, he's here. He's unmuted, but we cannot hear him.
Okay, I have questions. How many home sites or what kind of development is the intent?
Looks like 4.
No, they did.
Are we attempting to communicate via chat?
Yes.
Because he can't unmute or we can't unmute?
Is unmuted, but I don't know if his microphone's working.
Gotcha.
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Martin, while we're waiting for him to respond, I will point out, so this property, I believe, is 5 acres in size. And so, but essentially, with a parcel that's exactly 5 acres and rezoning to the agricultural residential zone, the maximum number of lots they'd be able to create would be 4, because they're going to have to provide legal access to all of those lots. And so they wouldn't be able to split it exactly in 5.
Thank you.
Okay.
You have a follow-up to that, or?
Well, I would like to stipulate that because I don't want to promote something that's going to be subdivision of
Sure.
20 homes.
Understood. I do believe, though, that's already part of the subdividing process for this particular item, that they're not going to be able to go above 4. Is that correct?
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Martin, that is correct. So a minor land division, the maximum you can do without going through the formal subdivision process is 5 lots. With this lot in particular, because of the size and the necessity to provide that legal access, we have to subtract that legal access from the size of the lots. And so they would fall, if you made each one exactly 1 acre, they would then all fall below that minimum lot size. So the maximum they would be able to split would be into 4 new parcels.
Okay.
Good with that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I have to, there's too many questions here that we don't know.
Okay.
Ingress, in and out, access, how they gonna do it? They need to be here and explain things and give us a map or something.
Yeah.
I believe, go ahead, sorry.
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Hubbard, there is in the backup material, there is a proposed split of the property. So it looks like they're providing an ingress-egress easement along the southern portion of the property. And it looks like the net acreage of all of the resulting lots would be essentially 1.11 acres after subtracting that ingress and egress easement along the southern portion of the lots.
Yep.
And there is a current easement in place, correct, on the west edge of the property, if I read correctly.
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Bradshaw, that is correct. Yeah, we have a right-of-way map included in the backup as well. So that green line there along the eastern portion of it, or the western portion, is an existing public easement.
Other questions, comments, concerns from commission for staff? If not, I'd like to close the public hearing and entertain a motion on item 13.
I feel like that we have enough information here to make a motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
There's a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Welcome.
Got it.
Any opposed? Commissioner Hubbard, you're for this, correct?
Oh, yeah, I'm for, yeah.
Okay, then none opposed, item carries. Item 14, Melanie.
Item 14 is evaluation of a request for an extension of time for a special use permit for assessor's parcels number 310-26060 to allow for the completion of the conditions of BOS Resolution 2022-214, allowing for a 100-foot tall telecommunication facility in the Kingman area. This is actually the second extension of time requested for this project. It was requested because the site development couldn't be budgeted until 2025 fiscal year. This extension of time will allow for the county permit to be applied for and issued and the facility to be constructed. Staff does find that the application is proper for consideration. It is subject to compliance with conditions set in Board of Supervisors Resolution number 2022-214. This extension of time will be to August 4th of 2026.
Thank you very much. Opening the public hearing, the applicant is on Teams.
My name is Michael Powers, representing the applicant for Atlas Tower. I just have one additional piece of information that is a good information. We started this project.
Thank you very much. Welcome, I appreciate it. Can I get your full name and address for the record, sir, and then go ahead and fire away.
Apologies. My name is Michael Powers. I work for the applicant, represent the applicant, Atlas Tower 1 LLC. Our address is 2500 15th Street, Boulder, Colorado 80301.
Go ahead, thank you.
I just wanted to add to the record that this project started a few years ago. I did this project myself. And T-Mobile has been delaying because I think rural access funds, something like that, has been going slow. But we now have Verizon very interested in this site, and Verizon at this point is possibly going to be the first tenant on the site, and T-Mobile will have to be below us, below Verizon, if they don't get their stuff going soon. But at any rate, we do expect to make this a community asset, and I would really appreciate the extension time to make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you are on Teams, if you could all unmute unless it's your item, mute unless it's your item, I would greatly appreciate that. I'm going to assume there's going to be questions from commissioners on the extension of time.
None from me. I think it's actually...
You were the one I thought was going to ask a question
no.
on it.
No, this is...
Never mind.
He's Mr. Talkie, huh?
Thank you
that's
very much to the
expected.
applicant. There is one person who signed up to speak, Dennis Cronkright. You still here?
I think I recognize his name.
Okay, he's coming down to speak, so if you could mute, I would greatly appreciate that. Name and address for the record, please.
Dennis Cronkright. Do you want a personal address or a location address relative to the project?
Whatever you're comfortable with giving.
1990 East Jaggerson Avenue, 86409.
Appreciate it. Go ahead.
Okay. I actually was not aware that this project was underway or something of consideration. So when I received the letter, we're supposedly within 300 feet of this. Obviously, I was concerned. So this is my first awareness of what is really going on. I'm a pastor of College Park Church, which is directly across the street from the Mojave Community College. So what I have to, my concern would, I think, also be the college, but probably much more us. We have 3 buildings. We have PA systems in each of those. And of course, one's a worship center. And so my big concern is that there would not be interference with our services through whatever might happen. We use wireless microphones and so forth. And so I don't know the effect of a cell tower that close to us, what it might be. I just got information on the company that's going to do construction, so I'd like to do a little research, which I wasn't fully aware of until just today. But I do have concerns just that this might affect us because we are so close, and so I can't say yea or nay as to my opposition or being in favor of, because I'm not informed on the possible effects that might have on our worship service and other kinds of things that go on at our church facility. So therein lies my concern for an extension, which I didn't realize. I thought it was really something that was being proposed, and then I would perhaps offer some either opposition or just big concern. My time's up, I guess.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your concern.
Thank you.
If there's no other questions from the commission for the applicant, I'd like to close the public hearing.
I do have a question for the applicant based on this, and that is, where is the tower located on the site? I mean, when we approved this, 2 years ago, it seems like it was further to the back of the property, but maybe you can help us.
Unmute.
Mr. Powers, please unmute your microphone.
Yes.
There we go. All right, now we can hear you.
Oh, apologies. I said that I think I'd rather refer to your staff. I believe they have all of the documents easily available to show to the commission to show the exact location.
Well, maybe you could speak to the interference possibilities to PA systems with this type of equipment.
Absolutely. All of the tenants, if you will, that will be broadcasting via RF will have actual licenses. They'll all be commercial businesses that are required by the FCC to have a very tight control of the frequencies that they're using, that they have been licensed to utilize. And the FCC also promulgates and enforces very strict action if there is interference, and it generally goes something like this. Atlas Tower and the offending radio frequency user is required to shut down their equipment if there is a notice of interference, and they cannot turn that node back on until they've tested and figured out what's going on, and they've also had communication with whoever or whatever company has stated that there is an interference issue. Interference is unusual, but it's taken very seriously, and I don't expect there's going to be any interference with the church's operations. I can make myself and my contact available to the church, and we could probably meet on site even before we go to start the construction, and so that we have an actual direct connection if there is an issue.
Thank you very much. So you just need to follow up on where the tower is going to go?
If it's, does staff have that location?
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Bradshaw, I apologize, I don't have the document in front of me, but my recollection is that it was on the northwest portion of the site.
Was my recollection as well. So it's a distance away from the neighboring property that has a question, so.
All right. If there's no other questions or comments from commissioners for staff or the applicant, I'd like to close the public hearing and entertain a motion on item 14.
Move to approve.
Second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, item carries. Item 15, Matthew.
Item 15 is a petition of exception for Bull Mountain Acres, tract 3087, being a proposed subdivision of assessor's parcel numbers 330, 32, 018, 020, and 021 to not require sidewalks and streetlights within the subdivision in the Kingman vicinity. So for this project, it's a little bit of a unique situation where the proposed density of this and the preliminary plat has been approved, gone through the commission and the board, and all the parcels are 1 acre or larger, which typically is a suburban development density and does not require sidewalks or streetlights throughout the development. In this particular case, because this had previously been slated for a subdivision with a higher density, the land use designation is low-density residential, which is an urban land use designation. And the way that the requirements in the land division regulations are is that for developments within an urban development area of the general plan over a certain size requires sidewalks and streetlights. But because of the proposed size of the development, because it fits more aligns with the suburban development area, staff finds that this application is proper for consideration. It has also been reviewed by Mojave County Public Works, and they have no objection to the petition of exception.
Thank you very much. Opening the public hearing. Is the applicant present? Do you wish to speak at this time? Available for questions? Thank you. Does the commission have any questions for the applicant on this item? You do? Name and address for the record.
My name is Travin Pennington. I live at 2247 Mesa Drive in Kingman, Arizona.
My question is, so is this less dense than the neighboring community? It looks like the neighboring communities have sidewalks. And so these properties are less dense than the two neighboring communities?
Neighboring communities, there's a half-acre subdivision to the south, and there's a 8,000 square foot lot subdivision to the south, and so that's what we border. So, yes, and everything that we got rezoned, we're building 1 acre. We went out of our way to kind of respect the topography of that area, and there's some beautiful landscaping and rock outcroppings. Yes, we went out of our way to kind of keep the topography and respect the native landscaping there, and we decided 1 acre lots are what was best suited there, and so, yeah.
And what about streetlights in those neighborhoods? Are they?
It was a request of the neighbors during the rezone that we didn't have streetlights and kind of more go to a dark skies concept.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, all right. Thank you very much. May I please have Angel Lund, and then can Kathy Calhoun raise her hand? Okay, thank you. So 4 minutes.
Good afternoon.
Name and address.
Good morning. Angel Lund,
Thank you.
4141 North Dragoon Road, Golden Valley, Arizona. I'm asking that this exception not be approved in respect for our handicapped people. And I also understand, like they stated, that there's other sidewalks in the area. I have no problem with them looking for the dark skies, not having the street lights, but I do think that the sidewalks are necessary and part of a community, especially in one that has other homes that are less than 1 acre in size. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There's no one else signed up to speak on this item, so I'd like to close the public hearing and entertain a motion on item 15.
I do have, maybe the applicant could.
I'd like to reopen the public hearing.
Sorry, this is, thank you. Do you intend to do sidewalks on the entrance roads? I think of, what is it, Sun Mountain? I mean, is there an opportunity to add sidewalk to the main thoroughfare in this area, just to capture the community in the collector?
It's difficult to take the typical subdivision. You take your 6,000, 8,000 square foot lots, you drain them to the street, you run the water up against a gutter, and you take it to a retention pond down the street, right? When the fact that where there's major topography happen, right? 50, 60 feet of elevation change happening in and around this area, dealing with native washes that we're leaving in the native locations. So on the sides of our roads, we're using a cross section. Our road cross section is bar ditches on both sides of the road, right? So to like mix that concept with culverts going underneath some of the roads and connecting those bar ditches. So the idea with sidewalks also goes curbs, right? And so what are you going to do with these curbs? The subdivision would have to be redesigned to do what you're asking us to do.
Okay, thank you. And actually, I just looked at kind of the street view of that, and there is not curb on that existing road, so I will move that we approve the 16.
I have a question.
Hold on.
All right.
I get carried away. Got to follow protocol, otherwise legal's going to be jumping down. Go ahead, sir.
So this appears to be an economic problem, right?
No.
Physical problem. Or you don't want to spend the money to do it, or you're okay to do it or not do it, or what?
No, they can't. I mean, they could, but I mean, what's the point? Look at the land. I mean, in the backup, there's the photo of the street view. It's be impossible to do a standard subdivision layout and streets.
I bet you there's not many subdivisions in Mojave, 1 acre lot subdivisions in Mojave County that have both curb and sidewalk for this very reason.
Thank you, gentlemen. Closing the public hearing, I'd like to entertain a motion on item 15.
Make a motion to approve per standard.
Second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Aye. One.
Here we go.
Item carries.
Is changed to an urban development area. We did add 2 areas of heavy industrial. Those are 2 existing mines in the area, so we wanted to make sure that those we're aware of those, and that was, so there's more of an industrialized area in and around those mines, really so that future development is aware of that. We also had the presentation on the Pravada area that was also discussed last month at the commission meeting. In looking at the development agreement and the zoning plan that we have for that, staff is still proposing no change for that Pravada area. With that, I turn it over to the commission.
Thank you very much. We have quite a few people signed up to speak, so it doesn't tell me to open the public hearing, but I think I need to do that, right? Yeah. Opening the public hearing, may I please have the following individuals come sit at the front 5? Angel Lund, John Gall, Arthur Ramos, Jennifer Esposito, and Gordon Morris. I only have 5 seats, so can you give me, yeah, I've got quite a few signed up, but yes, Danielle? Yes. No, you're good, you don't have to move, it's just the first 5 there, you're fine. 1, 2, 3.
There's one over there.
Oh, they're coming, all right. Angel Lund, you're up.
Angel Lund, 4141 North Dragoon, Golden Valley, Arizona. I also live a little west of the Dorado project, or whatever you want to call it. When we had the area subcommittee meetings, we were presented with this. Can you see that? Hopefully you can you see this on here?
Yep, now we can.
Okay.
It's upside down.
This is what we were told was going to be approved. If you notice, Dorado is not showing on there. This is the last information that we received. We did not receive anything stating that it was going to be revisited or that it was changed. We still want 1 acre parcels. If this goes through, I will lose a lot of my water pressure since I am west of this area. And they are planning on what, 3,000 homes? We only have less than 8,000 people now. You're looking at doubling us. We already have traffic problems, we have septic problems, we have everything in the world. We do not need this. I will say, though, that I was very impressed by the Pravada, and I would have no problem entertaining that if they were to enlarge the lots. But this, no. We have too many problems now. Our roads, our water, the septic, everything. This is ridiculous. We should have been notified. It never should have got this far.
Thank you very much. John Gall?
John Gall, Arizona Land Water Resources LLC, 2701 Andy Devine, Suite 300, Kingman, Arizona. As mentioned, I'm working on what's called Pravada project in Golden Valley. We're very happy that the commission is supportive of that. And I also am working with Mr. Crater on 1,800 acres in the Arizona Strip owned by Great American Land. It's not near the St. George area, but it's west of that. And we support the general plan as it's being presented today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Arthur Ramos, or Ramos? Ramos, sorry.
My name is Arthur Ramos. I live in Golden Valley, Arizona.
May we get your address for the record, please?
6614 West Agua Fria, across the street from the Dorado complex or whatever. And the last I heard, we've had, on numerous occasions, we've had multitudes of people out here that live in the area, and a lot of us are right across the street from that project, and they didn't, I thought it was clear how we felt about it, and then like that lady said previously, we had a map of how it was going to be laid out, the general plan for the future, the 10-year plan, and it's changed now without the people being actually, I don't know about notified. I know I wasn't notified, or how many people were notified, I don't know. So I went to the Mojave.gov and I saw the purpose of the planning and zoning, and right there in it, it says the commission will make changes to further the public interest but will not alter plans to review regulations solely for an individual, a group, or organization for their personal caprice, I believe that word is, convenience or profit. And that's in your guys' mission statement. It's the purpose. It's the first thing on your page. So I have a feeling that this is what happened, and I am against this project from happening there across the street from my house. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Jennifer Esposito.
Thank you, Jennifer Esposito, 3211 East Snavely Avenue, Kingman, Golden Valley property owner. Okay, here's your problem. The problem is that the advisory board held a meeting on January 15th. That meeting was only agendized for discussion and no action shall be taken. It was not agendized for a proposal by Angle Homes to give a presentation, but that's what happened. Now, somewhere between that meeting and this meeting, the general plan proposal was amended. There was never a meeting held to amend that general plan proposal. There was never a vote taken. So shame on those of you who sit on that advisory board, because I intend to file an open meeting law complaint against you. Now, as was pointed out at the last meeting, and Mr. Ramos just said it again, your job is not to make changes to benefit individual people, individual corporations, whatever. The Pravada thing, that's already an agreement that the county is contractually obligated to. Dorado isn't. The board rejected Dorado. The people rejected Dorado. Hundreds of petitions were filed. In response, and the impetus allegedly for changing this, was that 30 people in Ships Estates on the south side of the highway, far away from Dorado, submitted petitions in favor of it. Ironically, of course, Ships Estates is also an Angle Homes development. So you're looking at the difference between hundreds of petitions filed in person and online opposing the Dorado thing not going back and it going back. They want it in 1 acres, but you have 30 people who don't. So is your job, I'm asking you rhetorically, but is your job to do this general plan, as you've said, to take the input of the community? Or is your job to make a special carve-out exemption for one developer because 30 people who already own a home from them said that would be okay with them because they're not even affected? Thank you.
Thank you. Gordon Morris.
Gordon Morris, 4258 North Concho. We had a meeting at the fire department. Scott, you've replaced him, I don't remember his last name, was there and gave us a good spiel on what the general plan, not general plan, but your overlay was going to be. He said without a question that the Dorado was taken back and reverted back, being nothing had been done with it for so many years. We took that as solid word. Then we have a meeting here, and it's back in. We weren't notified that there was any changes. We'd had 60 people at that meeting, or more. We mostly were against it. I'm not against development, but I wasn't informed that it was being represented, or I would have been at the meeting. You people have seen me before. Don Martin, many others on the board have seen me many times. I come to the meetings that affect Golden Valley. We were not informed. You can't make a decision like that without putting it up, at least on Facebook, something. There's a back door into the county. I don't like it. It should all be up front. We need to change that. If they can come around the backside and slide it in and you guys approve it, we should be able to change my residential to commercial or apartments. I don't have that option. Why do they? Now, Mr. Engel's a nice guy. I don't mean to pick on him.
Thank you very much.
But we're against that.
Thank you very much.
Hearing me.
Before we proceed with the next speaker, I wonder what staff has to say. Accusations that it was improperly considered.
Well, public hearing's open, so we have a question for staff.
Yeah, what's your response to the allegations that this was improperly added or heard at the January meeting of the General Plan Committee?
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Patillo, so for all of the subcommittee meetings, the agendized item was the discussion of the Mojave County General Plan, and we did try to format those meetings to be area-specific as they've kind of followed up the community meetings that we had in the various areas of the county. There was no formal vote taken. It was always a discussion at those meetings with a call to the public to be able to discuss the changes and have a dialogue back and forth with that subcommittee. So to my knowledge, there was no violation of any open meeting laws.
Good. May I, hold on, no. May I please have Dawn, and I apologize, Pistorino? They here? Dawn? So the next few people, if you could come sit up at the front, I would appreciate that. So Don, Tyler Engel, Travin Pennington, Stephen Robinson, and Danielle Oley. And then we'll start with you, Don. So name and address for the record. Thank you.
My name is Dawn Pistorino. I live at 4873 North Teddy Roosevelt, Golden Valley, Arizona. We've been dealing with this Dorado development since it was first proposed. We are totally opposed to it. The roads are not built for that kind of traffic. The water system is not built for that kind of use. Right now, Arizona is in a severe drought, as reported by the state agency that monitors it. And to me, approving any big developments right now is totally insane. I know that water is a big issue among the Board of Supervisors and Planning and Zoning, but I also see a lot of greedy people with dollar signs in their eyes who are trying to profit from our neighborhood. That development is totally inappropriate for our neighborhood. That's an established neighborhood. The people have told you over and over again that we do not want it. Now, are you going to listen to the people? Or are you going to do something that's totally inappropriate, that is going to cause nothing but trouble in the future? You guys are going to have to deal with the aftermath of it. The unintended consequences are something all of us are going to have to deal with. And I don't care what the people on the south side say. It's more appropriate to develop on the south side where there is acres and acres of land to develop. But our neighborhood is already established, and we do not want it. And you're either going to listen to us, or you guys are going to face the consequences, because we are totally frustrated with this nonsense. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Stephen Robinson. And before you get started, may I see Terry Allenbaugh and Clifford? Terry, no, you don't have to get up. I just need to make sure you're here. Terry, and then Clifford. I'm not even going to attempt that. Is there Clifford here?
He didn't make it.
Okay, so then he didn't make it? Well, then how did he sign up to speak?
I signed up for him because he said he'd try to make it. Sorry.
4 minutes.
Okay. Commission, supervisor, and staff.
Name and address.
So why does he get
In 2015, that is the plan that's now under consideration. So the whole process of the last year and a half is to see whether or not you change it from that. In that 2015 plan was the Dorado development. So there was no change. There was proposals made, but there was no change in anything. And what your job is to do is propose changes for the 2025 plan. I'm going to read quickly in 811C, in accordance with Article 2, Sections 1 and 2, Constitution of Arizona, the board shall consider the individual property rights and personal liberties of the residents of the county. That means the property owners. I have set up communication with over 350 property owners in the 30 square miles, the 10 miles of the corridor and the 10 miles on each side of it. There's over 300 properties over 5 acres or more. These are not people planning to build a house on 5 acres. They're people planning to develop, especially along the corridor. Secondly, in 1995, the first major area plan after 65, we went 30 years without one. Everything that you're seeing that's being proposed, both the Privada and the Dorado, was in that 95 plan. What happened, I think I mentioned, was because there was a reaction to someone wanting to move the county administration building out to where Dorado is currently located. In 2002, an area plan was done to take away the development rights that was in the 95 plan. So except for the corridor, they took out 25 square miles of urban development out of the county's general plan from 95. It was a political move, not a principled move. And I want to thank Commissioner Morris for pointing out that for the next 20 years, Golden Valley is going to be where the development is. I respect people wanting to move, and in fact, I looked at their petition on the website. Their goal, even though they don't say it publicly, their goal is to have no development. And unfortunately, the Planning and Zoning Commission made a proposal turning all the non-commercial land in the 10 square miles into 1 acre minimum. Are you going to build a house right on Highway 68 on 1 acre? No way, you're not going to do that. Nor should you take away the development rights of the people in the corridor. So I encourage you, because I think I know a lot of what the Board of Supervisors will be looking at. Their attitude is that that should be a commercial corridor. But I think you should gradually restore some of the development rights, low density, just outside the commercial corridor, because you're taking away what has happened in the past is a taking, where you've taken away development rights of the people that own the land. That's almost as bad as what the Kelo decision, where they took property away from someone to turn it into an industrial development for someone else. That was, and the U.S. Constitution ruled that illegal. This is just the reverse of that, where you take away development rights. And I hope you'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tyler Engel.
Tyler Engel, 2800 Wallapai Mountain Road, and I'm the president of Engel Homes and High Desert Land, which owns has the rights to the Dorado area. Want to thank you all. It's great to see a full commission here. That's great. I know, again, it is really easy to be against development when it's nearby you, and we have listened to the public, made a bunch of concessions, significantly decreased the density for the area that we own from the old or the current general plan to the new one. So we've made a bunch of concessions on that, and Travin will go over what some of those to lower the density there. But I support the general plan. That's what I'm speaking in support of. It talks a lot about the necessity of future housing, of attainable housing, of affordable housing, and it points to the 2023 Mojave County Needs Assessment. And in there, they analyzed where in the county we can build all the projected housing that's going to be needed. It says we need between 10,000 and 50,000 houses in the next 20 years to support the growth. And the area where they need to be built is places that has infrastructure. So Golden Valley does have a road infrastructure already in. It has electrical there. It has water systems there. And we're ready and prepared to add to those and do the studies and the improvements to make it a better area. We appreciate the past community leaders that have had the foresight to plan for growth to get us in Mojave County to where we are right now. Where would we be if when Mojave County got to 10,000 residents, the leaders said, okay, let's lock it down, only allow acre subdivisions? well, none of us would be here today, right? So it's hard to plan for growth, but we need to plan for it for people moving here. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Travin Pennington.
Nick is with me, and he filled out a request.
Oh, that would be
Can
the
we get
gentleman
4
who didn't
minutes?
put his name on it?
It might have been.
Yeah, I put my name on there.
Oh.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Oh, no, I filled it out.
But you want to yield your time to him, I'm assuming. Okay, perfect. 4 minutes. Go ahead.
Thank you, Commission. Travin Pennington, 2247 Kingman, Arizona. I'd just like to take a moment and just kind of reiterate, coming from Angle Homes, or the owners of this particular property, the Dorado property, from us, what we're asking, right, in this update. We've listened to the community. We've been involved in this process for going on 2 years now, this general plan update, or at least 18 months. We've taken 172 acres of the perimeter of this property and put 1 acre lots, or designated as that suburban residential, all the way around the perimeter of this property. We've removed 158 acres of medium density residential, think of possible apartments or condos. We've added 10 acres. We had conversations with the fire department, and they dictated kind of the location of where they would like a future fire station site. So we've allocated total of 10 acres for future sheriffs and fire station sites. We've allocated 23 acres for future parks. There's existing 134 acres of that. This site is designated as open spaces and drainage. I'd like to take yes, and I think you guys are referencing these maps. Go ahead and go to the 1995 general plan. Just, I think Steve Robinson mentioned in his discussion, but this is a map from the general plan from 1995 showing this Dorado property, and it had low density residential and medium. It looks like it actually had much more medium density residential back in 1995. So to say that this just came about, and this has been talked about at the county level for the last 30 years, so we're asking that you guys support this version that we're proposing. Thank you. We'll be available for some questions.
Thank you very much. Danielle? Before you get started, Kathy Calhoun, just raise your hand. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought that was her getting up. So Kathy, Trish Call. You're Trish? Okay. Shirley Hendon. Kathy Joy. All right, thank you. 10 minutes.
Thank you, commissioners and staff and everybody who showed up today. This is good conversation. Danielle Oli, Keck, Golden Valley. So first I want to say thank you to the very well thought out proposed project down south, Golden Valley. I think that's a better location for something to add more density and stuff. I don't have all the details. I'm not saying I support it, but it is a better location. And like some of the previous speakers said, our area has built up since 1995, has built up since all the last general plans, and we have a schema of our neighborhood. And this is being dropped right in the middle of our neighborhood. There is nothing like it around it within the 300 feet. I do want to make a note. What I want to talk about today, though, is the way that this process, how this got brought back up. So if you go on the county's general plan website, it has a list of all the area meetings and all the subcommittee meetings that were to be hosted. The last subcommittee meeting was November 20th, 2024, that's listed on there. Then, unbeknownst to us, there was another meeting planned, January 15th. I don't remember seeing any kind of announcement for it. And if I can get the camera up, I finally figured out, I talked to Matthew Gunderson, and he told me that this took place, this presentation, which they already presented the same plan during our subcommittee meeting, and nobody was for it, and they didn't have the 30 petitions. Now they have the 30 petitions, which we can't even see the backside of that to see who the petitioner was from the documents I was able to receive from the county. So who got those? I'd like to know Who was the petitioner for those? So if you look at this meeting, this was on January 15th. Up in the top corner, it doesn't say who it was posted by, the time, or when it was posted. So I don't know when this was actually posted for us to have notice of it. And before that, there was one commissioner present, 2 were online, and 2 were not there during this meeting. The only people in attendance, I believe, were the developers. And before they opened it, they said, if you go back and watch the YouTube video, is the only place where I can find this meeting, that, hey, they want to start with a presentation from Angle Homes. They even opened up a public hearing and allowed them to speak, closed the public hearing, did not do a motion or anything to add it back on. Staff even said it was against their recommendation. They hadn't changed their recommendation to keep the Dorado plan off of there, yet this change still moved forward and took place. It wasn't until somebody sent me a draft of the general plan in April, and I saw that it was added back on there. And I asked, were there any other subcommittee meetings where this was presented or talked about or gave us an opportunity to discuss this? And there was not. So it was like all these meetings were listed, and then there was this like secret hush-hush meeting in January, no other meetings until June. So I don't know how that happened, but it did. I also went on the county calendar where you guys have all your meetings, and I typed in general plan subcommittee meetings, and I searched from January 1st to June 30th, and no results were found. You can't type it in, nothing pops up. I put it in on the exact day, the same thing, and it said no events are available on the county meeting. And then if you do go to the calendar and you know the meeting was on the 15th, if you click on it, it does come up. But guess what? It says that the date and time was January 15th at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. If you look, and there's no agenda listed, there's no documents listed with the new proposal or the petition signatures. And then if you go back, that meeting took place at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So that's where we feel like there's been a violation of open meeting laws. Sorry, I'm just very frustrated because we've tried very hard to participate in this conversation and we feel like it's falling on deaf ears. So in the Mojave County 2025 General Plan Update, the very first page, the introduction, it says, Arizona state statutes requires each planning agency to prepare the governing body to adopt a comprehensive long-range plan, yada, yada, yada. Most importantly, the 2025 general plan is a public tool for the citizens of Mojave County to guide the growth they wish to see to the year 2035. Most importantly, the citizens. They do not live there. If they want to talk about their communities, that's great. They are developers, they are coming into an already established community, and they have worked with you guys, but they have not communicated with us. We had to beg for a community meeting over 2 years ago. They sat there with their arms crossed, slouched in their chairs, smug faces, and didn't bring us not a number of houses. They didn't have anything. They pretty much said they're gonna do the bare minimum requirement based off of what the county requires them to do. Under ARS 38-431.02, an agenda must be available at least 24 hours before the meeting and posted with the notice. It should clearly outline discussion topics and any potential actions. Vague descriptions can lead to legal challenges, as agendas must provide enough details to inform the public. And courts have ruled that substantial deviations violate the open meeting laws as they deprive the public of open opportunity to engage. And we believe that is what you did, and I hope that somebody from the county attorney's office or the county manager contacts me, because I am planning on reaching out to the, I think it's called the bomb something.
Ombudsman.
Yes, thank you, for guidance on how to address this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. There are no other individuals signed up to speak on this item. Are there any questions for staff? From Commission? So, go ahead.
I'd like to hear county's, again, response to anything she just presented.
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Ruge. So we did have subcommittee meetings. I'd have to go back and look at what happened on the posting of the agendas on the website. I don't have that information off the top of my head. But we did, in November, we had finished the last of kind of the follow-ups of the community meetings that we had held. And then we wanted to have one additional meeting to go over the goals and policies as the main focus for the general plan. And given the holidays in December, we pushed that meeting to January. So that's why that last subcommittee meeting happened in January. Staff's recommendation after the Golden Valley community meeting was to change all of that Dorado area to a suburban development area. And that's what was presented at that first subcommittee meeting after the Golden Valley community meeting. As we went through the process, we received another proposal from Engel Homes with revisions to their original submittal. As we were still going through the process of gathering public comments and everything, we wanted to make sure that got presented to the commission. So we did have that presented at the last meeting. Again, staff's recommendation was still to change that whole area to a suburban development area. At the meeting with the subcommittee, through the conversation, it was clear that those on the subcommittee thought that the concessions that were made with the revised proposal of the 1 acre buffer around the property was a good step for that type of development. And it was pretty clear that that's what they wanted to see, and so staff made that change in the general plan. There were no votes at any of the subcommittee meetings. They were meant for discussion, and they were open to the public, for the public to come and speak. But the actual voting that happens is for the commission, and that's why it was presented last month and continued to this month. So this is before the commission today for that formal action on any changes that you would like to make.
You good about that?
Thank you.
Questions?
I do have one question. You just said that the 1 acre buffer was a request of the residents around, or how did that, can you clarify that again? Hold on, I asked him, please. Thank you.
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Hellam, so the main comments that we got from the residents of Golden Valley was they wanted all of Golden Valley to be 1 acre residential lots. And if there were any commercial development, if there had to be commercial development, it should be along Highway 68. That was the vast majority of the comments that we received from that meeting and written comments from residents in Golden Valley. The revised proposal from Engel got rid of any medium density residential within the development and then placed a buffer of 1 acre lots kind of around the perimeter so that those that have existing 1 acre lots in the area, they're not going to be adjacent to a 6,000 square foot lot. They'd be across the street from another 1 acre lot. And so that buffer was placed around the property for that purpose. But it was not the request of the property owners. That was the request of Engel Homes to make those changes after getting the comments from those in Golden Valley.
Thank you.
Commissioner, you had a question?
I have a comment, and I appreciate all that we've heard. This has been an arduous process. It's been, and I don't feel like that the residents and the citizens have been unheard. So I appreciate bringing the purpose of the commission, and it will make changes to further the public interest, but will not alter plans or review regulations solely for individuals, group, or organizations. For convenience and profit. So let's talk about what our job is. Our job is a planning board, and it's to ensure good planning, good economic opportunity, healthy schools, advancements in transportation, advancements in EMS, and maintaining open spaces. That's good planning. It's not good planning, in my opinion, to have wildcat subdivisions that are just square 1 acre lots. That does not advance open space. That does not advance schools. No one gets to have a new fire department. No one gets a park out of that. And in fact, no one has an opportunity to create a fantastic development like the Pravada development, because there's no trajectory, there's no density, there's no opportunity for them. Let's talk about water quality for a second. It's 1,320 acres. Let's put 1,320 septic systems in that area, instead of 2,000 homes with a sewer system that actually works and actually builds the community and creates an ability to further development in the entire valley. You can't do that with 1 acre lots.
Hold on. As a reminder, this is not an interaction point between the public and any commissioners and the staff. So out of respect, can we please keep it that way? Continue.
Thank you. So does 1,320 septics contaminate the water system? Don't know. But I'll tell you what doesn't. A sewer system. Yes, I do know that because I am an engineer and I've built sewer systems. So I do actually know that. Dark skies can be maintained by a development agreement, by putting in a dark sky ordinance. You can't do that with 1 acre lots. Anybody can put whatever size of lighting they want to put in a wildcat subdivision. Higher densities create an opportunity to capture businesses inside of that development. That reduces traffic. Call me crazy, but I've seen it. I see it all the time in my work. These master plan developments leave spaces for open space. They leave spaces for park. They leave spaces for neighborhood businesses. And ultimately, this is a general plan. This is a guidance document. This does not create vesting. This does not create lots. This does not build somebody's future. This is a trajectory for somebody to say, hey, what does this look like? How can I move forward on my property? And again, this is not to advance a single ownership. This is to advance transportation, EMS, school systems, park systems, road systems. You cannot pave roads and maintain roads with 1 acre lots. I'm sorry, it just doesn't actually work. So that's my comment.
Thank you.
I also have some comments.
Go ahead, sir.
As I stated before, Kingman, Bullhead City, Lake Havasu, they've all been through this growth process. I come from areas where growth has to happen. You grow or you die. I would rather have a developer like whoever come in and have a master plan on what they're going to do, not just 2,000 people building one home on a 1 acre lot. They have to have a septic. There's no road improvements or anything like that. When you got a person like a developer that comes in with a master plan, they have everything down pat. They're even going to take care of the septic. No septic. It's going to be a sewage treatment plant is what it has to happen. We already have, Bravado is going to have less than 1 acre lots. I think that I would rather have this type of deal happen, no matter how it becomes, and have all the tax, benefits and all that from an area like that. If you have these houses built according to the developer standards, a private person cannot build, a developer cannot build homes on 1 acre lots and make any sense of it. It's just, not everybody wants a 1 acre lot. Not everybody wants a 5 acre lot. A lot of people that are older, they can't take care of a 1 acre lot. I think this Golden Valley is going to be the next growth area. There's no doubt about it. And that's just a matter of fact. We got so many people moving in this area and so many houses being built, and they're sold before they're even built. So I think this is good for Golden Valley, even though you guys don't agree with it. I think that it's It's the way it's gonna
Hey,
be.
hold on.
Yes, please.
I understand the passion and emotion behind this. I do, I truly do.
Yeah.
But this commission and the majority of the people were very respectful when you all spoke. There were not audible laughter to draw attention. You got to respect the people that are talking, whether it's commission, whether you agree, whether you disagree. Please be quiet, respect them as they respected you. That's the least you can do. We're all adults here, okay? Continue.
And responsible growth is the way to go. They're gonna be under so many more restrictions than a single person building a house is gonna be. You're gonna get a good community out of it eventually. And that's just a matter of fact. Land is valuable. There's a lot of land in Golden Valley. And that's my opinion right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
My concern is for the improper notice, if we are in that category.
We're not, right?
Ma'am, you can speak on call to the public, but not yet, not at this time. This is, thank you.
Chairman Hassett, Commissioner Martin, again, I don't believe that the county is under any violation of any of the open meeting laws. Yeah, I don't believe we are.
Oh, go ahead, sir.
I also have some comments. Again, I understand the passion of the people that are taking the time to come and show up at these meetings month after month. You're passionate about what you believe. I don't believe anything that's been said in this room in the last several months has fallen on deaf ears. We do hear that there are people out there that don't want this, that want everything to be 1 acre. However, the general plan since 1995 has had the zoning designation that it has. It's not that they're asking for a change. You can go back to the 95 plan, you can go back to the current plan. What I see so far is that the owner of the property has been willing to compromise somewhat. They've taken out the higher density in the middle. They've surrounded it with 1 acre properties. Again, that alone would address all the people within 300 feet. I believe in property owners' rights. I believe it would be unfair to any property owner to go and change what they can do with their land that has been in a general plan for decades, to go and change that based on who shows up at a meeting. We don't work like that. And the last thing I would say is, continually the people that show here talk about they're the majority. All the people in Golden Valley want this. All the people in Golden Valley are for 1 acre lots. And I personally have not witnessed that outside of this room at all. In fact, I think it was 2 months ago, we had somebody who sat through an entire meeting just to wait for the call to public to get up and say, I don't want 1 acre, I can't take care of 1 acre, I would still like to be in Golden Valley. Please don't listen to the loudest voices in the room. So that's my comments on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I have some comments.
Sorry.
I know exactly where you're coming from. I've seen several areas fall. And when they do fall, eventually they do recover and start a good community. I've been like you, I've been chased around all over. I buy a piece of property, a few acres, 10, 20, whatever you want to do, and then you're surrounded by apartments and developers. Developers are not going to go away. You're going to have to understand that. And if they doesn't fail one time, they'll come back and do it again. I'm all for you, but I think progress is where you're looking at. And there's too bad that you can't come to a compromise, take half of it, and go over it again, and massage this thing to where everybody kind of agrees. But that'll never happen. You can't get two people in a room and they'll never agree. So I think I sympathize with you more than you know. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Martin?
This was for the developer.
question?
Yes.
Public hearing is still open. They're not an applicant, they were just someone speaking. Can they, I don't think you can interact with someone who's, that's for legal.
Commissioners, it's been agendized. I mean, if the commission has questions and needs more information to make a proper advisement to the board supervisors, they're more than welcome to.
Come on down.
Where exactly is the sewer treatment plant going to be for that project?
So it would be at the southwest corner is the lowest elevation point, and it has to flow downhill, so it would be somewhere in the very southeast, or southwest, corner of the property.
Okay, then, and I don't have it in front of me, does that butt up to any other properties?
Yeah, there are a few. Do we have,
Do you have a way to pull up the?
So it's kitty corner, kind of there at a section line, so diagonally. So it would be, this is sideways, but in this area here, somewhere would be where the sewer plant would need to be to have flow from the other areas. So there are a few homes over here and a few homes over there, no homes in this section down here.
Can I follow up, since you're up here? Again, we've heard and seen photos of the Ship Estates treatment plant, and it's not good. What will be different about this development as far as the treatment plant?
Yeah, so that's, years down the road, so we haven't designed it or anything, but it would have to be a sophisticated treatment plant regulated by the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality, and there's a very long approval process, so we'd have to hire a sewer engineer to design the right size system and get approved by the county and the state as part of the subdivision requirement process. Is all that would have to happen. I'm not a sewer expert, so I'd have to hire outside experts to design it for us.
Were you involved in the Ship Estates?
No, we didn't develop that. It's not like legally our development, but we ended up buying finished lots and building a lot of the homes in Ship Estates over the last 2 or 3 years.
But you were not involved in that development of the
Correct,
sewage
and we
treatment
don't
plant?
own the sewer plant or have any sort of connection with the people that currently own the Ship Estates sewer. But yeah, I understand there's some complaints over there.
Thank you.
So how can we guarantee these people that there's not going to be any stench or odors?
There's a significant permitting process. They're going to need an individual permit, which is no small task to get. Every step of the way, there's room for the public input. They're going to have to go through ADEQ because of the volumes that they're talking about. This won't be a county issue. It'll definitely be a state issue. And they'll have a state individual operating permit with some extremely serious criteria that they absolutely must meet at all times.
Including advanced odor control.
Yes, including odor control.
Well, I'm just making a comment because they're dealing with that other septic sewer issue. I wouldn't want to see them deal with two.
So, I've actually been kind of involved on the outside of that complaint on the other issue several years ago. And I could not identify an odor complaint when I was out there. I understand there may be problems now, I don't know. I would recommend that people continue to call ADEQ and find out what's going on. So I don't know of any complaint that's been made to ADEQ about it.
I don't mean
That
to
has
interrupt.
nothing
Are there
to
any
do-
other questions or comments directly for the developer, the applicant? Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other commissioners' questions or comments for staff or anything? Hearing none, I'd like to close the public hearing and entertain a motion on item 16.
I move approval.
Second.
This isn't filled out like normal, so that's what you're needing, right? Like where there's a first and a second?
Well, you need to push it to the
Okay. All in
to the Board of
favor?
Supervisors, right?
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Martin and Hubbard. Item 17, Commissioner comments. Okay, hearing none. Item 18, call to public. Ma'am, do you still want to speak? You don't have to sign up for this. You can just come up, but name and address for the record.
Don Pistorino, 4873 North Teddy Roosevelt Road in Golden Valley. And I've lived out there for 40 years. I've seen Golden Valley grow. I've seen Kingman and the whole county grow. And I don't see that the growth has been an improvement. Kingman is a nightmare. I avoid going to Kingman as much as I can. In fact, I'd rather go to Bullhead City. It's a lot easier to drive through. You have the mall in Laughlin that's closed. The malls are barely open in Bullhead City or Havasu. So to me, all your arguments about growth are ridiculous. I lived in California for 24 years, and I saw what happened there. And that situation is definitely not improved and getting worse. So I think you guys are living in a fantasy world. Thank you.
Thank you.
Whatever that means.
Commissioners, Chairman, I have spoken with the managers of Cactus State Utilities, and I went down to the ADEQ office and I looked. There has been no complaints filed against Ship Estates waste treatment plant. There was a video that went out that showed horrible surface pollution. What that was is part of the permitted process, and Mr. Putillo knows this, that one goes through an 11-stage purification or treatment process, and then the solids, crap for a better word, goes into these two ponds for drying out and then hauling off to the landfill. But there have been no complaints, and now before Angle Homes built it out, there was not enough flow to make it work properly. Now with 147 homes in that development and the potential for much more in that area, or not much more, but a few more, it will be a plant that will continue to do its job right. Now I want to remind you that in the plan you just approved, the corridor, the 10-mile corridor, all of it that was not commercially developed was put into the plan as 1 acre minimum. I would recommend that you take a review of that and that they fix that and get it back to the commercial zoning or of designation, except for one thing. Get rid of any residential development along the corridor, along the highway itself. There's low-density residential on the east side of Teddy Roosevelt and south side of 68. Get rid of that. Get rid of all that kind of commercial or residential development.
Thank you again for your comments. I just want to say, for those who are concerned about Angle Homes or Resurrected Property making money off of this development, it's over 1,400 acres, which they got 12 years ago, Resurrected Properties, on tax lien. I've gone through and got all the old tax bills, and I've added it all up. They've paid maybe a little over $200,000 for 12 years for 1,400 acres right there. So I challenge someone to prove me wrong. I would love to know that. And they are doing subdivisions of acres in other areas, so why can't they do it in Golden Valley on a piece of property that they've got dirt cheap? Thank you.
Yep.
What did that even mean?
I'm Art Ramos. I live in Golden Valley. I couldn't help but notice that every time Melanie tries to talk, Cullen interrupts her and shuts her down. And I find it a little disturbing that one individual has so much influence over another, and I suspect that maybe that happens more than just once. So if you could all be individuals and have your own opinion, no matter what it is, for the rich developer or for us, it sounded like a couple of these fellows over here were mocking those of us that live on 1 acre properties, like we don't matter. And I find that to be wrong, and it's infuriating, to say the least. But, I mean, you are trying to tell us, Eugene here, is trying to tell us how we should feel, like you people do. I mean, it sounds like you've already made your decision. There's no compromise. Before we even started talking, somebody over here was trying to tell us how to feel, and somebody over here was trying to tell us how to feel, and then Melanie tries to bring up a point, and Colin shuts her down.
I take exception with that.
Yeah, well, ask anyone in the room.
No, hold on.
Every
That's
time
not-
she
no.
speaks,
Hey, Mr.
you
Ramos,
talk over her.
Mr. Ramos, there's no
Yes.
interaction, sir, so please just say.
Oh,
your-
well, he interacted with
I
me.
understand that. Please finish. I understand.
What am I supposed to do? Just bow my head? I don't think so.
Angel Lund again. One thing that wasn't brought up was the water situation. You're talking about, what, another 270 homes that were approved for Ship Estates. Then we're talking about Pravada, which sounds like a good idea, actually. But then you want to take and put over into a residential 1 to 5 to 20 acre area. You want to take the center of that and make it little lots. It doesn't make sense. There's 2 huge washes through there too. I don't know if you're aware of that. There's dirt roads you can't drive on. And we have Highway 68, which is a death trap. And you want to add what? Another 2,000, 3,000, up to 9,000 people in that area. No. Do the Pravada and just leave our area for about 10 years until the next time. Then if we need it, okay. But our, projected, we were supposed to have 20,000 people out there by now. We have less than 8,000, and we like our area, and we want to keep it. Individual septics? Yeah, sure. Much better than a septic that nobody repairs, that everybody else is in Ship Estates is paying $100 a month for, and it's still not getting fixed. Plus our water situation. We don't have the water for another 6,000, 7,000 people. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Trish Call. I live in Golden Valley. You're a planning commission, and yet you're not even thinking about the planning of Golden Valley. What about the roads that aren't there to service these additional people that are coming in? What about the fire department that we don't have to take care of these houses if they catch fire or any place else? And what about the schools? Do we have enough room in our school to be able to handle these children that are going to be occupying these homes? Planning means being prepared for that influx of so-called improvement that you need to take into consideration. And you're not doing that. We have 2 police officers for the whole Golden Valley area. We don't have enough room in the schools for the kids that are there now. And you are supposed to be planning and taking care of us, and you're not doing it.
Jennifer Esposito, Golden Valley resident. First of all, Chairman Hassett, once you recognize a speaker, you have an obligation to let that speaker speak. That speaker has the floor. If someone like Board Member Patillo decides to interrupt that speaker, you have an obligation to call your own board member out of order and shut them up.
So that's what this little thing was.
Yeah,
Everybody
and you need
stopped.
to use it properly. So let's just talk about this situation. Let's talk about the population. Let's talk about the water. First of all, this Dorado subdivision is within the Golden Valley Improvement District. You're talking about adding thousands of homes in an area where there are only about 400 water allotments, even for sale. You didn't even bother to take that into consideration. At the last meeting, it was discussed that water issues were supposed to be taken into consideration. Now, I didn't have the chance to print off 17 copies showing you that the water, the test well in Golden Valley is showing a steady decline in the aquifer. So, as has been pointed out, directly across from Ship Estates, the board has previously approved about 270 additional homes. Now, we can't do much about Pravada other than work with them, but if they go forward with another couple hundred homes on a, I don't know, Leisure World kind of situation, okay, now we're adding more strain on the aquifer. As someone who is old and owns and has no problem maintaining 5 acres and taking care of livestock and everything else, we do not zone for the one person who says, oh, but I can't, so please don't let anyone else have acre lots or more. I would much rather have 1 acre lots spot zoned with septic tanks than high density in an area of the valley that is not equipped to handle the road traffic. This is a terrible location, and shame on you. The population in Golden Valley peaked, and it peaked in 2021 at 9,685. It is now 7,782. We don't need more building there.
I think it works. Thank you. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, Kathy Joy, Mormon Flat Road, Golden Valley. You all are part of the problem with our government. You set up meetings, general plan, you have public meetings. We all come out, we tell you how we want Golden Valley to grow. 1 acre. You turn around and you sneak it in. You just sneak it in where Angle Homes can have a presentation, 30 signatures from people down in Ship Estates, and you put it back in. That's a problem. That's a huge problem. You're all telling us how we want growth, how growth should happen in Golden Valley. No, you're not listening to us. I hope Don Martin is going to listen to us come the Board of Supervisors meeting. You're all the problem, especially you, Mr. Patillo. You didn't show up at one of our meetings. You're supposed to represent Golden Valley. You don't represent us. You represent Angle Homes. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir.
Thank you. Gordon Morris, North Concho, Golden Valley. I bought my first lot in Golden Valley in 1960. I was told it was a plain community, 2.5 acres. Checkerboard pattern. The off on the checkerboard would be vacant. That's what the argument's about. That got traded. It's not going to be vacant. I'm not against building. I prefer 1 acre. If you can't maintain 1 acre, fence off the back half. Leave it brushed. It's natural. It's a habitat. At the last supervisor meeting, there was a presentation, and our lobbyist brought it to our attention that there is a few million from the state to the city of Kingman to put in another commercial well on our aquifer. There's already 2 commercial wells for city of Kingman, not the county, the city, in our valley now. So they must be having a little problem with their wells, that they're going to bring it to us. We have to keep that in mind. In the future, Kingman may have a problem. That's why they're coming to us. One other point, if we allow developments in various areas, each one with their own sewer plant, we're going to end up with a hodgepodge of sewer plants all over that valley. If we're going to go to sewer plants and not septic with 1 acre, then I honestly believe, and I've worked at sewer plants, the county should own it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You guys have a good day.
You as well, sir.
George Loya, 6660 West Golden, Agua Fria Drive. I'm right across the street from this project, and I don't think that that's where it should be. Harmony came up with a plan to build something out there where Rhodes was going to build, and I think that's a perfect location for subdivisions. But our neighborhood, it's 1 acre lots, and we like 1 acre lots, and we can maintain our 1 acre lots. And if they put that sewer plant on Laguna right there on Agua Fria and Laguna, when the wind starts blowing west, it's going to come right into my neighborhood, and we don't like it.
This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.